Yo, the Pelicans just made a very, very interesting draft pick in the second round. We're gonna talk about it. We got Chris in the building, aka Gustavo Ayon, aka the Mexican Titan. I'm Cheddar Chaz. We're gonna get into this draft pick and see what it might mean.
First took away. Gas for this. Get your money's worth now.
Whoa. Welcome back to the stream. Thank y'all first and foremost for rocking with us on yesterday's stream. It was incredible. We did incredible numbers. I think we well over 11,000 now. Thank you for everybody who subscribed, who shared the stream, who hit the like button. Make sure you share this stream. You hit the like button and just tell a friend. Chris, how you doing today, brother?
Good, bro. Good, man. The Pelicans ain't traded away none of my future assets, bro. So I'm straight, man. What I got to complain about?
Yeah, I see you got your Ice Spice shirt on. I thought Toronto was about to take my draft pick. I was gonna call Ice Spice on Toronto. Like, keep y'all ass. Don't come over here taking our shit, taking all our players. But that being said, shout out to Blue Moon, shout out to John Deere, shout out to Sunshine 4D. We got 5 in the building. Yo, shout out to Scott Vicknair. No one fights for the win, but they will fight for your draft picks. 504-500-1111. And Pelicans didn't even put up a fight. So, immediate reactions. They drafted. Can y'all help me out in the chat? Also, is it Micah Peavy or Pivy or Pivy or Pave? Can someone help me out in the I'm pretty sure his first name is Micah. Name probably Mika. But
the Kings took Reno.
They took Reno. He's a Kings type pick. He's a Kings pick.
Okay.
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. Know what that means? It's a bonus on the move. Now I'm playing. But Peavy is PV, Micah Peavy. I'm just calling him P. So Master P.
I mean, to start, man. I'll be honest. I don't really, I'd have to defer to 5 or anyone in the chat. I really didn't watch much of them. I see another guy that at best turns into a 3-and-D guy, probably would start out, a G leaguer. They'd be curious to see what kind of deal or commitment they make to him. Upperclassman, I think 23, 24 years old, but what's interesting is that the first natural thing that popped into my head is, for the first time, oh shit, that could be her replacement. Now I don't know. You don't want to. I don't necessarily know if you want to think that over a second round pick, a flyer of sorts. But that was we know that Willie Green has an affinity, has a type for these kind of players, and I really thought that they would take. It felt like Maxime Reynaud would have been the perfect selection. So. It's a curious pick, but it fits the coaching staff, and it fits some of the guys that they brought up in the program over the past 6, 7, 8 years. But honestly, the first person that I thought about was Herb, similar to last year when they drafted Antonio Reeves, and you guys said the first thing that you thought about was Jordan Hawkins.
I see some I saw like a Najee comparison. I think that's pretty legit, man. He bumped his 3-point percentage up from 32% to 40%. I was like, oh, okay. All right. Off the dribble, strong with the basketball, a connector, it seems like. Again, I'd have to watch more film, but just off the rip, has a decent mid-range pull-up, strong. Again, like, it seems like he ain't, getting pushed over. 220. Like, Chaz always talked about these guys don't be in the weight room. Well, it seems like this guy's in the fucking weight room. So it's good. I guess good change of pace. We'll just have to watch more tape on him.
Honestly, I wanted Max, but I think this pick makes it interesting. Really, I want to do what dude from again, Chris? The Lakers took. He from
Arkansas.
From Arkansas. Yeah, I really wanted homie, but it's all good. Gale being cheap again because all they traded up 45 and some cash. They could have made that happen if they really wanted to do it. But that should also tell you that some of your role players on this team ain't worth shit. Because if they could, you couldn't get a second for Jose. Like you couldn't get a second for August, probably. I mean, I don't know. Maybe they saving that to aggregate salary to do something else. You know what I'm saying? Again, it's still early. But again, watching these playoffs, especially the finals, physicality was something I really took notice of. Very strong physical player. Just interesting. Hopefully, getting to do his thing on the boards. I think when you look at the type of temperament they're building, it's a very physical team.
Yeah.
Let's say if Zion's around, you got Zion, you got this brother, Master P. You got and now the center position gets very interesting because you don't have many avenues to improve, but like now I think, like Chris kind of alluded to earlier, I think shit becomes more of a reality now than before, especially considering you have to be good this year. So we'll see.
I'm just doing simple math real quick, Chris.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I'm doing it. Did you know that in Micah Peavy's last 11 games, he averaged 25.3 points per game.
Mm-hmm. I know he was at the top of my list.
He can score.
Yeah.
I keep saying I missed the first couple minutes, but I keep saying, well, this is kind of interesting for Herb Jones. Like I'm not saying this guy's a Herb Jones replacement, but I find it interesting the second year in a row they've spent on a fifth-year guy. It looks like he can play day one from what I was listening to Jay Billis. Obviously, I do some film review, but was there, I don't know if I missed the first couple minutes, but was there somebody else y'all wanted to see? Because people are still talking about, like, what do you do in the center position? Okay, so Mod Dog says Walker Kessler.
I don't think if you drafted Max was playing anyway. Like, to me, that was another. To me, that said more about maybe Carlo than anything, because you're not going to draft him, even with his size. You're not going to draft him to start out the gates. So I think you're still in the market for a veteran center, and they don't have to be a big name center. You still got a guy like Nick Richards in Phoenix. They got a gluttony of centers at this point. You got Sharp, who's a restricted free agent. You got Lindale. You got a couple of options. Cornette looked like he might be going back to Boston. You got options. I'll say that. You got options. My instincts tell me it's going to be Jared Allen or DeAndre Ayton. Like, that's what my instincts are telling me, but I could be wrong. We got 332 people in the building. Make sure y'all hit the like button. Appreciate y'all, man, rocking with us.
Hey, I'm watching this film, bro. You know, he kind of reminds me of. I mean, I'm not like saying he's the same level, like a lower tier.
Mm-hmm.
And not because he light skinned, but Paulo. I know it's odd, but like the mid range, the funky release, like he's trying to get there, and he's super strong. Like, he's too big for a guard, but too quick for a wing. Like,
yeah, quick twitch, huh?
Yeah,
Jared.
That's in the scouting report that he's a pretty good athlete.
You're muted, Chris. You're muted, Chris.
Like, he could finish. Like, I'm like, yo, all right, well, there's skill there. Just, how do you use it?
I mean, look, bro, he gonna be 24 years old July 16th.
I'm fine with that. I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
Look, the more and more we talk about this, like, I'm okay with drafting 4 or 5 year guys out of college. They've done actually pretty well for the Pelicans. Herb Jones was literally one of them. Antonio Reeves was another one. This kid's another one. Like, I actually like a guy that's got 3 or 4 years of basketball, Division I basketball under his belt. Because it's like, it's hard to develop. Whether we like it or not, it's hard to develop players.
And to be honest, it's a second round pick. You don't have time to develop these guys.
Exactly.
No,
they got to be developed like they got to be developed.
You got to be ready.
Yeah.
You got to be ready. Unless you 19, or you 18 and you in a situation where, like, you are a clear project that a team's invested in. If you are upperclassmen, like you said, you got to hit the ground running. It's important to make a first impression right away, or like, who knows where you'll end up or where you'll land. You might not even make a roster, depending on the situation.
And a type of like game that Georgetown played, man, it's all physical. It's all like they were trying to run for the most part, right? It wasn't half court sets. It's like, oh, we're gonna play really tough physical defense, try to get out in transition and score, create mismatches. Like it seems like he knows how to play. I really want to watch more tape now.
With the draft, I guess, being over now, what grade would y'all give Dumars and Weaver? I'm kind of interested to hear this. Whoever wants to go first.
Five, you go ahead. You go ahead.
I'm after I've had more time to really think about it, I gotta go with an incomplete. I can't really grade it because it's really the next year's next year's first round pick that really throws this wrench into it. I like both picks. I like both guys. I was high on both guys, but the way you went about it, again, the process in which you went about it is the tough pill to swallow. I thought about this, right? Like, what if they would have moved up to get Fears early? Right? Like, what if they would have, traded up to get Fears early? They would have spent another, first round pick probably to get Fears early, and still got Queen, right? Where they got him. Would you still think about this as like that's a stupid move, right? Would it still be that much of an uproar when they did that? I think the fact that they spent another first round pick to get Queen at 13 makes people reluctant to say that this was a good draft.
Y'all hear that?
Is it me?
Like,
who is it?
I don't know.
Let me view myself.
No.
It might be 5.
Let me see.
Chris,
What are y'all
definitely has
hearing?
background. I hear Chris.
Like
Chris,
static
mute
and
yourself real
feedback.
quick. Chris, mute yourself real quick. Yeah, it's Chris.
Yeah, it might be. It's probably Chris.
Wait.
Somebody still got a transit.
So you got incomplete, Jared. Yeah, like I'm with you. Right, like you want to give a grade, but you got to see how Derek Queen pans out. No one's questioning the Fears pick, and like looking back on it about 24 hours now, yeah, it was an overpay, no doubt. No doubt it was an overpay. But no doubt, I'm not down that at all.
Mm-hmm.
What if Queen turns out to be something? What if Queen finishes top 3? Just say whatever. I'll just say this. What if Queen finishes top 3 in Rookie of the Year voting this year? Do you think it's worth it?
I don't think that's a good metric, honestly. I think Rookie
What
of the
metric
Year.
would you go with?
I think Rookie of the Year kind of whack. He got to be an all-star, bro. Now he has to be an all-star.
Derek Queen's got to be an all-star year 1?
No,
not
like
year 1. This is something.
Okay, by what year? By what year would he have to be an all-star for this?
By at least year 4, or maybe going into his second contract. Because you didn't even trade because it just looks so bad once. I'm thinking about because I like to look at things from the opposing team's view. If I'm Atlanta, I'm doing that deal 10 times out of 10. You traded me 2 firsts for a guy who might have been there at 17, right? And what compounds the situation that makes it terrible, even more terrible, is that the first you just traded, you traded that too early. You shouldn't have traded that one. So you traded 2 picks that could potentially be 2 top 10 picks, right? Like one could say, well, any pick could be 2. Yeah, but some have better chances than others. And you just lost flexibility. But all that to say, man, I thought I got to do like the opposite of what some teachers do. I'm starting you off with an F, right? Now you can work your way to a B. You know what I'm saying? If you execute the right trades and stuff like that. But again, you don't currently have a team that can contend for the playoffs seriously, in my opinion. And now you don't have a pick in this draft. And I don't know what y'all working on, but you may not have a pick in next draft neither if shit get crazy. So, well, in 27, you don't got a pick in 26. Who knows what's gonna happen in 27? But it ain't looking good. You got to finish this roster. You need a center. a real center, like a real deal center. Like
not like a Gustavo Ione.
Nah, yeah, not like
shout out Gustavo.
Yeah. Shout out Gustavo Ione, man.
You went Julian Wright, then Gustavo Ione, Chris.
Yeah, man. I give it a B. Only like I'm looking at it through the lens of just the draft in itself. I think that they obviously overpaid. They obviously there's some incomplete parts of the roster that they're gonna have to address either via trade market or in free agency. But considering that the finals just ended last week, right? We haven't even we got a long way to go in regards to the offseason to see what other moves they make. But I give it a B because I think that I can sell myself on both of the players. I think you got one for sure guy that's in fears that is everyone would agree is a really good option at 7. And then I think when it comes to Derek Queen, he was top 5 on their board and he was top 5 on mine. He's the top 5 talent as far as I'm concerned out of this draft. You leave with that in your situation. We were talking about yesterday, how is this team going to be able to be in a situation where they're Zion independent? Well, this allows you to be that. And I think both guys that you picked, even if it was a massive overpay, even if it was dangerous, that's really what it is. It's dangerous. What they ultimately did, you draft 2 positions that complement each other. You drafted 2 guys that will grow up together, that are going to need each other, and that could also by default be the future of your franchise. If all this shit fails this particular year and you got to move Trey, you got to move Zion and do everything like that, you drafted 2 particular guys at 2 positions that complement each other, that go well as a duo, point guard, power forward, point guard, and center. Some guys that have some previous, I guess, experience with having conversations, being around each other, going against each other. Both seem to be very competitive on the floor. Both play with a similar mentality. I think that matters when you make a move like that. So you're going to find out if you drafted foundational pieces. And I could see in which they did. So a B, the only reason it's not an A is because of what you had to give up to make the Derek Queen thing work, as much of a fan as I am of it.
So we've all 4 been... We were all 4 on the show last night, all going live, and Ross was doing some other stuff. What were you doing, Ross? Yeah, softball game. Is that
9 and 10-year-old girls all-star softball.
So you missed the breaking news. Actually, Khan, Jarrett's son, made the all-star team. So you missed that breaking news. So congrats to Khan.
Well done.
How did y'all do last night? Because this is what's really important.
Straight to the losers bracket. Lost 6-3. Tough first inning. Gave up 3. Got him back out there for some practice tonight. They're going to rebound tomorrow.
Okay.
They're going to rebound.
We'll be
all right.
Don't let them win.
Don't let us win tomorrow.
Because then they get Petey and then she'll game 6.
Yeah. No.
What are your overall thoughts? Go ahead. First off, we'll start with fears. They get fears at 7.
You know what? I would say more than anyone else. I liked the more I watched, the more I liked. I really did. At first, it's easy to talk yourself into like the bust potential with those type of players. But the more film I watched of him, like the more impressed I was. He's got a sneaky first step. Like he's got a clever, quick, deceptive first step. I think his shooting mechanics don't look bad. I really think you'll see more efficiency at the NBA level from him because shot selection will change. What he'll be asked to do will change. He'll get more open looks off of other players. Like he was asked to do a lot last year, a lot. When you go watch film, like, hey, please go generate a bucket type stuff. The more I watched, the more impressed I was. I really I'm not going to say it's a home run because it's the 7th pick, and I think the draft is a total crapshoot. But like I found myself more impressed with his style of play, some of the intangibles, and like he's not just out there playing; he's out there. I found like he seems really competitive, and I know that's kind of cliche, but like he seems like a competitor, and this team needs competitors serious about basketball.
So before we get to your Queen thought, because we actually are gonna on Sunday bring on Jeremiah Fears' high school coach on the show.
Nice.
And I was talking with him today. I was like, "What did coaching? Fears like give me something about him." He said the Pelicans are getting a young man who has the potential to be the face of the organization. His commitment to the process and work ethic is one of the best I've seen in my 17 years of coaching. And that's from Pete. I hope I'm not pronouncing his last name, but Pete Caffey, and he's the head coach program director at AZ Compass Prep. So, yeah, that's good. And he's going to come join the show on Sunday to give us more fears.
Good. I look forward to talking.
Yeah, but now the main talking point is giving up the unprotected first round pick to move up 10 spots and get Derek Queen.
I don't like the deal. I like the player. And so, in fact, I like all 3 players we drafted. Like, if you just ignore trades, ignore anything else, right? Like, if you just said, hey, you ended up with these 3 players out of the draft, yeah, hey, I mean, about as good as you can do. Hopefully one of them turns into like a really good player. One turns into a serviceable player. And, I mean, I truly believe you're flipping a coin. And look, we're all, for the most part, on the record in terms of talking about Queen's talent. I got no issue with that. I think giving up an unprotected first next year is asinine, like almost unjustifiable. It's a reach in every sense of the word. You've now sort of like hung your hat on like Derek Queen better be good type situation. I don't like that part. I mean, look, you're entering the season with Herb as an unknown, Trey coming off injury, Zion's always an unknown. DeJounte's not going to play until after the new year. Like, I don't need to go through this whole thing. You guys and the folks listening know this. A lot of unknowns, and you just gave up your best asset for next year, which is that pick. So that to me takes what I would have if you had given up 23 and 40 to go get him, I probably would have given you an A- for the draft. But because you gave up an unprotected first next year, it's really hard to give you anything higher than like a C- because of the value associated with that pick. Justin, me and you've been doing this now for 7 years, something like that.
7th year, yeah.
And I think I could probably go find 100 times where I have said the most valuable things the Pelicans own are their own picks. And until they prove me wrong, that's going to be my opinion of this franchise. You just gave away, I think, the most valuable thing you have for next year. So, look, if Derek Queen balls out this year, ain't nobody gonna say nothing. Who cares about that pick? But if he doesn't, and you miss the playoffs, and you just gave up another, number 5, 6, 7 lottery pick, it's gonna look bad.
So Joe Dumars said something last night. I don't know who wants to go first, but we're gonna try to bring up the presser from last night to talk about it. But he said something along the lines of, we were going to be aggressive, and we gave up that first round pick because we got 2 lottery picks from this year. And I thought that was an interesting comment because I was like, go ahead, Jared. Clearly you want to go.
No. I thought it was a pretty interesting. I mean, he felt like Derek Queen was a top 5 talent. Great. Now, when you trade your unprotected first round pick of next year, he has to prove it. Very quickly, you sped up his timeline. Like, that's the real issue. Like, Derek Queen now has to truly prove it. Now, he probably wants the pressure, right? He probably does. But I don't think he really understands the magnitude of really what that pick has done. I mean, people around the league now are going to just be looking to see if Derek Queen pans out when he shouldn't. Like, think about all the 13th picks. Like, he has the most pressure of a 13th pick I've ever heard of. Naturally, you would think like these are the guys that get picked in this range that should achieve, like, right, like, or be underrated. Trey Murphy. Let's talk about Jamal Murray, Kawhi Leonard. You didn't think they probably had top tier talent, but they got picked where they got picked and no one overspent for them. We're the only organization that's ever overspent for a 13 pick.
So the latest 13 picks were Devin Carter, Grady Dick, Jalen Duren, Chris Durante, Kyra Lewis Jr., Tyler Hero, Jerome Robinson, Donovan Mitchell, Devin Booker. Devin Booker went 13th.
Hey, look,
See,
that's a pretty good list of players. Like
Yeah.
all
Not the
things
Kyra
considered,
Lewis
for like
pick.
the 13th, for like 13, like that's a pretty impressive list.
Oh yeah,
Wait,
Kelly. I mean,
should-
Zach LaVine, Markieff Morris, Tyler Hansbrough,
But
Julian
yeah,
Wright. There you
All
go,
right.
Chris. Juju Bees.
Think about this,
Julian
though.
Wright at 13.
Think about this though, Justin. If Queen pans out, right, you're gonna be like, well, you didn't overachieve because they spent a first round pick on you, like another first round pick on you.
Mhm.
Like you cutting his legs up from under him.
And what's unfair about it, because I think people are thinking that it's the value associated with the pick. It's not that I think we could have gotten someone better next year, like or something. I want to be clear about that. I don't know if you guys have like addressed that. For me, it has nothing to do with like, oh, I really want us to make a pick in next year's draft. It's the value associated with the fact that the Pelicans pick is always valuable, and the team still needs, I think, a couple of things, but definitely needs another very good player. And I think that pick could have been part of the package that could have gotten you that other very good player. I don't care about drafting some rookie next year, to be totally honest with you. I care that we just gave up a bullet in the chamber to go get a very good real player, like a player already in the NBA.
Chris, we talked about this earlier today, though. But what are your thoughts on like this comment from Don? If we suck, just trade Zion, Herb, Trey, and Jose, and you recoup some of those picks.
It'll be a great way to replenish those picks, whether you trade them all at once or you kind of put them on a trade Klarna plan of sorts. Trade one here this month and trade the other one as you go. I think that could be a realistic way of looking at it. That could be a pessimistic way of looking at it. I'm not sure. I think the thing is, though, I'm more concerned about the message that the organization is trying to send right now for this season. Because while we talked about them being aggressive, well, the other side to that is very impatient. You can say that it's very impulsive. In hindsight, the Indiana trade is looking, it's going to look impulsive. It's going to look impatient, even if at the time, you only knew what you knew. Trading to get Derek Queen, aggressive, but next year we could be looking at it. Well, today it was impatient. If you wait till 23, is Derek Queen there? No, but is there still a valuable player available? Maybe so. Maybe you can trade up at 17. Who knows? But that's why I'm curious about the message that they are sending, and that there maybe is this an opening statement for the entire offseason? Are we looking at a franchise that has shown the early parts of this regime and this in this draft, like this is just how they are going to move? They're not waiting around. They're not making popular moves. They are getting out anything with David Griffin's name on it that they don't like, and they don't care what it means to have to do it. They don't care what they lose in the process or how it looks if it means getting his shit out of the building. So now you're not getting the coach out the building. You ain't that's a little off-putting. That's odd. But you're getting rid of a lot of other things that are associated with him, that are associated with a lot of the fans in the city. So I'm interested to watch how these next few weeks go, how you lead into free agency and lead into the new year, how they continue to move and address the center position, so on and so forth. Because I don't while this was very impatient, I really think there's a pathway for both of the guys that you drafted to be top 5 players in this draft. I can see it. But everyone's gonna focus on Queen. I think I think the focus needs to be on Fears, because I think Queen has an easier pathway to being the better player than Fears, because he's going to get the opportunity right away. He's the guy that's more instant and more, I guess, easily involvable than, say, Fears is going to be day one. So, it's going to be interesting to watch, man. But I however you feel about Queen and Fears should probably speak a little bit more to what you think about this draft going forward. If you think that they're top 5 talents, like the Pelicans seem to think, then maybe how you look at what 2026 could look like, maybe a little different, even if it was impatient and maybe a little irresponsible.
So before I want to ask Chaz something, but I wanted to say something about you, Chris, because you said impatient. And since we've started this podcast, all I've heard is patience and patience and patience. You got to be patient. You got to be patient. It's been 6 years of patience and nothing happens, right? So now we're being impatient and we're making these short-sighted moves, and now everyone's mad. So you were patient. You waited 6 years. You got nothing, by the way. Not one playoff series win. And now we're making moves, being impatient, and everyone's kind of pissed off. I still think I agree with most of the fan base that it was an overpay. But at the same time, like, I still need to see how this plays out. Ross, do you want to say something before I get to Chaz?
No, I was just first off, I agree with what you just said. I have, like, there's a huge difference in being impatient and going get some veteran, and being impatient and going get a 19-year-old incredibly talented player. For me, those are two different. They're like, if you're going to be impatient, at least go get this person you think, hey, we here for 6 years, develop, blah blah blah, all that stuff. That part I'm fine with. I guess I was just curious. I mean, I missed the first part of the show, but like, what would y'all's grade be for the draft, ignoring the actual pick part of it, like ignoring the trade? If you just look at the players we got, what grade would you give?
I'd easily give it a B+. Easy.
Yeah, I was going A. Ignoring how you got them, yeah, A.
Yeah, just the players you got.
Easily, yeah, A.
Probably a B-.
Same. I give it an A.
Yeah, I mean, how many drafts would we? I mean, when was the last time we said anything even remotely close to that? Like, probably at least we can leave this draft saying, "Hey, brought some young talent in." Forget how you did it for half a second. I mean, you got to find the positives, right? Like here and there. I'm excited about Fears.
Yeah,
I really am.
It's like it's almost like buying a house in New Orleans. Like, you're gonna overspend. Like, oh shit, you got a super nice house. Well, how much did you pay? Oh,
don't worry about that. That's not your business.
Don't worry about that.
Yeah.
But it is fine.
You want to come check it out though? You can walk through.
It's facts. Chaz, I want to ask this question, piggybacking off of Chris's comments. Who has more to prove, Fears or Queen?
It's absolutely Queen.
It's simply because of the trade.
The trade don't help, but see, to me, Queen, while I like the player, I do think he has more bust potential, just because he can easily become just an empty stats Terrence Jones, throw him out there type guy. Like, just like if you told me Queen didn't get a second NBA contract, I would be like, all right. Like, it wouldn't shock me. But that's the thing I question about. But you got to take risks. Got to take risks. But to me, you can do all the scouting. These things are impossible to predict. Things are possible. There's signs that you can look to. Like when Jahlil Okafor got picked, I was like, I don't see what that's about at all. And a few years later, he was kind of out of the league. So same weight problems, not the best athlete, super skilled in a game that's not really, played that way anymore. But at the same time, when it comes to aggression, like just wanting them to do something to me don't mean go do the wrong thing. Like, you know what I'm saying? Do something. Like, yeah, that don't mean burn my house down. Like,
Right.
this is just, you know, and it only looked bad because it's not only look bad, but it looks worse because it's compounded with the Indiana pick. It's like, damn, why you just and you because if for example, if you hold on to the Indiana pick till Monday, you probably ain't gotta attach that Bucks pick. Just give them the Indiana pick. You know what I'm saying? Oh, you couldn't use one of your own future for like it just and you to me, this was a very now this happens all the time in the NBA. But everything about this is stereotypical to me. Everything about it is stereotypical to me. Because Troy Weaver, I don't think you even considered anybody else besides Derek Queen. And you told the world, I'm getting Derek Queen. Everybody knew for the long time we was getting Derek Queen. So if I know that's the only direction you're going in, I'm going to charge you a premium. At no point was I like, oh, at 13, they're gonna take fucking I don't know anybody. Like I just don't know. But at no point was there any fear about that around the NBA. And I don't think people were beating down Queens' door to get him. So a lot of it, you know, and it's not necessarily an indictment on the player, but he is culpable too, because it looks like collusion. Because you friends with him, you friends with his son. Like it just all look crazy to me. But if it works, cool. You know, I'm gonna root for him. I hope it absolutely works out. Because from the videos I've seen, he's a very, very young man. It's a very, very like I ain't talking about basketball. I'm talking about the footage I've seen of him speaking and the how he carried himself as a very, very young man. So for his sake, I hope it works out for him. But optically, it just ain't no way. To me, it's unspinnable. Like, it has got because Ross say he got to be good. I don't even know he got to be good. He got to be very good to great. Like if it let Giannis say, "Oh, y'all ain't doing shit. I'm out of here." No.
It's tough, Chaz, too, because to answer Justin's original question, like. It would have been if you had the 10th pick or the 9th pick and you took Queen, no trades, no nothing. He still has these hurdles that people are questioning whether he can get up. There's a bunch of fears. Like there's a bunch of guards that turn into good players. Like it's easy to see a path. Now he may never get there, but it's easy to see a path where he in 2 years is like, oh, hey, you got a good one. It is a bit more difficult for Queen because of his position, because of his size, because of his style of play. Like those things exist. Is he incredibly talented? Absolutely. I think he's going to be a good offensive player no matter what. But the NBA is more than just that. Like you got to be able to fit into a team construct. You have to be able to work within lineups. You have to be able to guard other people. Like there's all this other stuff you have to be able to do. And those questions like genuinely exist for him, absent of who got traded for him or what pick got traded for him or where you took him. And that was like, so you have added an extra level, I think, of like, you know, I don't want to call it pressure, but you know, you got something to prove now.
Go ahead, Chaz.
I'm sorry, but the thing I wanted to add as well to Ross's point, and again, it's more of an indictment on the front office. And I would love for this to all work out truthfully, because for one, I'm just tired of this team looking stupid. All right, you know, I really am. Because, you know, I got drafted to Detroit earlier. I got out. So I'm worried about y'all. Shout out to Chaz Lanier. But the thing I'm thinking about is you, as the Pelicans, you done fucked around and put a top 10 grade on this trade now. Because he don't just represent pick 13 no more. Because when you look at those two picks that could potentially, let's say if those picks end up being 15 and 17, 15 and 17 is probably getting you in the top 10 in most drafts. So when you look at it, just look like, oh man, I just hope this works out, man, for everyone's sake. I don't think it's the end of the world, but I just hope it works out for everyone's sake.
So then, Chris and Jeremy, who y'all's thoughts on this? It's, you know, I was looking back today, just like what rookies how many minutes they average under Willie Green. And Herb Jones and Yves Missy in this exercise, like they're kind of an anomaly because they don't like Herb Jones was subbed into the rotation because Josh Hart got hurt game 2, and then he just took off and played. Yves Missy had to play. Like I don't think if they had an actual NBA center, I don't think Missy would have gotten 29 minutes a night. But anyways, as rookies. Dyson Daniels averaged 17 minutes a night. Trey Murphy averaged 15 minutes a night. And I forget who the other one was. But it was around 17 minutes a night. It was Dyson. I said Dyson. I said Dyson. I'll look it up. Anyways, Chris, how many minutes a night does Queen need to get day one? Because remember, of all the shit you just traded for pick number 13, we're talking about this, how many minutes a night does he need?
Well, I think in Queen's case, you're gonna need to. I mean, you talk about a dude that needs to play 18 to 20 minutes a night starting. I mean, I think he'll be coming off the bench, and I think even if this team makes upgrades at the center position, unless it's somebody unforeseen, we're talking like a Sabonis. But even if they make a move, they're gonna need bench scoring. They're gonna need They're gonna need other guys that can hold the fort down while Zion is out, whether out of the game or not playing in total, or whether Poole is. It's crazy saying Poole being a Pelican, but weird. Poole being on the bench, Trey Murphy, and this is considering if all these guys are healthy and ready to go, like you are going to need that level of creation, like the things that Queen is supposed to be really good at. I think you're going to need from him day one and throughout the year. You're just going to need that stabilizing element or somebody that can come in to start a second quarter or keep things together at the end of the first, or whether it's giving you energy or simply someone that you can put the basketball in his hands and positive things can happen. Fears I'm unclear on because I just have a hard time seeing.
That's the one I'm worried about.
It's hard in most situations. And especially in a spot to where like Fears would have to dominate every single opportunity that he gets, from summer league to the offseason program to training camp to preseason, for me to be able to envision a 19-year-old point guard playing substantial minutes on a team that now clearly has to win basketball games. I'm not saying he can't do it, because he obviously showed you, being the youngest dude in college basketball last year, having the success leading an Oklahoma team to the tournament, finishing with 17, 18 points per game, leading all freshmen. He obviously has shown you that he's been a step ahead along the way. So if there's anybody that you maybe give the benefit of the doubt that could catch on quickly and be impactful, it's him. But that's the toughest position to learn at basketball, being a point guard, and him being that young with Willie Green and his coach. I just can't see the pathway. And even if you get an opportunity to see it early with DeJounte out, how soon before Willie Green gets frustrated and just says, I can't play this dude. I can't, it's just not gonna work.
Because he's coaching for his job too.
If Willie Green gets to make that choice, then this whole thing is where there's a pointless conversation. If he gets to make those kind of decisions, it's a joke.
It's a joke.
Well said, Chad.
Yeah,
couldn't have said it better myself.
Right. You know what I'm saying?
If he's allowed to make those type of decisions this year, then you've made no progress as an organization. Zero progress.
So
honestly, I'm sorry, Justin. Go ahead.
Well, no. Finish your comment. I was going to go to Jared next.
Well, I was going to say, I really think one of the keys is getting rid of Willie Green's like favorites, his pals, and you already kind of started doing it. And again, with some of these draft selections and things like that, it's kind of like, that's interesting. Like, where you going with this? Because I just can't imagine pick 7. Like you
got to play him.
You
got to play him
because you call Queen a foundational piece.
He called Fears a foundational piece.
Yeah, and so it's like I think you're going to at least give him an opportunity to fail. And also, Willie Green hasn't been above benching Jose Because at one time he's giving Jose's minutes to Hawkins, and he damn sure ain't above benching Hawkins. So I'm just interested to see what it means. Also, Hawkins has the DMV connection, so I don't know if they got a motherfucking monopoly on the Pelicans. I'm not sure what's gonna happen with that, but I do think with the way this roster is still set up, is a lot of like questions. So I do think they're gonna do some trimming of the fat.
So Jarrett, how many minutes tonight would Fears and Queen need to get for you? Like, okay, there's an actual plan here.
For Derek, I can see like 15 to 20 theoretically. That might be a little high, but I would love probably for him to be around there. For Fears, it's gonna be tough. It's probably gonna be 10 to 15, maybe less. I might be overshooting. I'm just like, dog, he the 7th pick, right? Like, and he might get 15. He might.
Like, that doesn't make sense to me. Doesn't make sense to me.
Shit, Willie Green don't make sense to me. So we all in the same boat.
Like, you're at a point now, because y'all bring up a good point. Willie's gonna be coaching for his job, and he's not gonna be like, and with the trade, you can't tank. Like, there's no point in tanking, so you might as well try to win these games. And if Willie Green's trying to win games, he ain't gonna play the 18-year-old kid.
Hey, bro, I'm gonna create.
See,
My bad, bro.
Go ahead. No. Go ahead, man.
Right. Bro, I'm gonna create me a tinfoil hat, right? Whenever I have like a theory about us, I really do think Joe Dumars is like, man, I don't give a fuck what Willie Green thinks. Like I truly believe in my heart. Like, I don't know anything. I haven't heard talk to anybody. My perception is like, I don't think he cares. Like, I think he already knows. Like, he's out of here. Like, he drafted 2 guys that don't fit Willie Green at all.
Yeah.
And he called them foundational pieces off rip. There's nothing Willie Green can do about it outside of like not playing them. Like, Willie Green can't win his job back. That's kind of how I feel.
Even if they get off to a good start.
Hell no.
Yeah.
Hell no. Because there's no way you just become a good coach. You just don't. Like, you become a little bit better, but a good coach? No, it ain't happening.
It is what it is.
Yeah.
460 people in here, by the way. The last couple nights, y'all have been absolutely incredible. Appreciate it, right? Make sure you smash the like button, hit the bell notification when we go live. Yes, Ross, did you want to say something?
I did, because the one thing that I think we are overly critical of Willie Green on, I think he's a terrible coach, is this notion that he doesn't play rookies. Like, Dyson Daniels played 17 minutes a night as a rookie on a team that had Herb Jones, Trey Murphy, Zion was playing. Like, you had guard, like Jordan Hawkins played 17 or 18 minutes a night as a rookie. And I mean, if Fears plays less than 20 minutes a night, I'll be shocked. I'll be shocked. Would you? This year,
I think Queen should get 25 minutes a night, by the way.
I think there's a better chance. I think there's a better chance of Queen not playing.
Queen needs to get at least 25 minutes a night.
It's going to be harder for him to find minutes because you got Trey Murphy. Like, there's just
Queen.
Yeah, it's going to be
his. I don't think so.
I can make an argument that Fears should start. He won't.
I was actually going to make an argument that Queen should start.
Whoa.
Over where?
At the 5. It's fine rebounders, 6'9", 6'10", whatever. You're like, who's going to guard Jokic and who's going to guard Wemby? Newsflash, nobody on planet Earth can. Okay, so it doesn't matter.
That to me would be asking like just too much. It would be asking too much
to play the 5. That's asking too much from the guy that I just wasted my future on. That's
asking him to start at a position that I'm not even sure he's cut out to play in the NBA. Like, pardon me?
Look, when we say starting, I think people have this thing like he's going to start and play 48 minutes. No, he's going to start and play 5-6 minutes, and then a substitution is going to come in, and then we'll do a different lineup, and then he'll start the second half, and then we'll go from there. Starting him doesn't mean that he's starting for 48 straight minutes.
But you'd have to have a justification for starting him.
He's good. He's our best center on the roster right now. He's our best center on the roster right now. Derek Queen is the best center on the shout out Eves. He's the best center on the roster today.
I mean, can I tell you something?
Yeah.
Hey, we need a center then.
Yeah, we do. We
need a
definitely
center.
do.
We need a center.
Yeah, we do. You're right. We need a center. Shout out to Eves, who's on the podcast. I said, Lala, let's bring up the Did you say something? Yeah. So we're gonna do a little film review of the Joe Dumars presser from last night. Go ahead.
Really feel good about the night. Actually, we really feel good about the last 48 hours, to tell you the truth. Look, one of the things you want to do is when you're building out a team is whenever you have these tentpole moments, draft, free agency, trade deadline, it's an opportunity for you to make a statement about who you are as a team, what you're going to be, really to define yourself. And so with the last 48 hours, we're really just trying to define who we are and the type of players we want to bring in. These two young guys tonight, it's crazy because we felt like we were going to have to choose between these two guys the entire night. And so to end up getting both of them was just really exciting for us. We thought there was a chance that we could end up getting both of them, but you never can tell with so many teams moving around. So very happy tonight, very happy to have these two young men, and we think that they're going to be great additions to the Pelicans. I'll open it up. Yeah, so both of these guys, as freshmen, impacted winning for their teams. Fears is second youngest player in the draft, should have been in high school this past year and led Oklahoma into the NCAA. I think when people saw Queen as a freshman as well, led Maryland, game winner against Colorado State. The fact that these two young guys, they didn't just get to the college level, put up decent numbers, and now they're in the draft. They impacted winning, and so that appeals to us, and that goes right to what we've been saying just about the profile of the type of guys that we want to bring here. Yeah.
Can we pause it?
Pause it, Justin.
Pause it. Law.
Yes.
Go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah,
I'm trying to deal with the volume, but the volume's so bad in the arena or wherever the hell this is.
it's all good. I think one thing that I'm not gonna say I dislike, but to me, Joe Dumars strikes me as a person that likes to see the best in people and the best in guys. I'm just so tired of this game winner being referenced because it wasn't like some impressive thing. And not only that, it's like, and the only reason I'm saying is because I remember Charlie Villanueva scored 50 points in one game. And he went out and gave Charlie Villanueva a crazy fucking contract. Josh Smith doing in the dunk contest and doing all type of cool shit with Atlanta. He goes out and gives Josh Smith a crazy contract. That's why I'm like, I don't know if Joe, and I mean, it's not a terrible trait to have. Maybe when you're making business decisions, but it's not a terrible trait to have. I would hope that it was more than just, if that game winner, fuck. I mean, that's affecting winning. It was like, I would hope that there was a little more put into it than that.
Man, I like if he would have said or referenced the game against Rutgers, right? That would be more of a point to be like, yo, he went against the two guys that got drafted ahead of him, and he dominated in that game. That shows a level of competitiveness, wherewithal. He was the best player on the court that night, right? Like he was the best player against. He's that competitive. I hate the reference of the game winner. Bro, it was a play. It happened. Great. But there are better games of Derek Queens that we need to be referencing. Ross, casinos in Lake Charles. We got Golden Nugget. We got LeBurge. The Horseshoe?
I don't actually know what the third one is. It was the Isla Capri when I was living there, but it's something else now. They redid it.
Joe must have spent some time over there.
Yeah, probably.
He I'm gonna start calling him Blackjack Joe because he doubling down on everything. On everything, bro. Yeah, he had to be playing. He had to be gambling over there, bro. Ain't no way.
Go ahead, Lala.
Blackjack Joe, man.
The only way I've ever had success in this league, I've been around aggressive teams my entire life in this league, in this business as a professional. That has always served well. I thought the two teams in the finals exemplified that this year. They were aggressive on both ends of the court. They defended like heck. They pushed the ball.
Wait. Rewind that. Run that back. Because wait a minute.
Aggressive on both ends of the court.
No, prior to that, where the initial aggression like comment ensued.
That has always served well. I thought the two teams in the finals.
Go about 240, Lala.
No, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it.
Go.
He's conflating two different types of aggression here.
Correct. Yeah.
He's conflating him being aggressive going after the player he wanted with people being aggressive on the court, because Indiana wasn't very aggressive going to get Pascal Siakam. Like, that wasn't very aggressive. And OKC hasn't been aggressive yet. So you can't really conflate those two types of things. I get what he's trying to say. Like, we're gonna epitomize aggression. Everything you could think of, we're just gonna be aggressive. If that's what he's trying to say, I get it. But he's still conflating two different things.
Fair. Go ahead, Lala.
Aggressive on both ends of the court. They defended like heck. They pushed the ball. Those are the elements that win. And so, yeah, we want to be aggressive at all times.
You had these two guys that you wanted, and you thought that gave you the best chance to get both?
No, not necessarily like that, but what I did think was that if we're going to have a chance to make a move up, we need another asset. And so let's go ahead and get this asset now. Now look, when you do that, here's what you have to know. If you get stuck at 23, you better have a handful of guys you like there. And we did. And we were just watching the board and watching who was going off, and we were like, yeah, we would have got one of those guys. So we like the guys at 23, but yeah, you know, sometimes when I got here, we had just the 7th pick, right? And so I'm like, we don't have enough assets to move around during the draft. So yeah, we had to get that asset, put it into this draft, and hope that we had a chance to do it.
Time out, Lala. We're at 30.
My brother. When you got here, you didn't have the 7th pick. When you got here, you had the Indiana 26th pick and you had the Bucks pick, right? You traded the Indiana 26th pick. You used two assets that you had when you got here. It's not like you accumulated some new assets and used those assets to go get the guy you wanted. You used the stuff that was already here. And some people might say that you used them incorrectly. I just think he's being dishonest here. Definitely being dishonest.
Hey, do y'all think? I think Joe's in a peculiar situation where, like, he's been told like he needs to do something quick, right? Although I like the players that he was able to get, but it feels like there is some semblance of pressure being pushed upon Joe. Like, yo, we need to turn this thing around very quickly. Like, we need to get some kind of excitement, which I do think these two players add for you.
They definitely, if that was a goal, yeah. Go ahead, Lala.
Went into what you can give up next year for Derek.
Yeah. So when you have a chance to get 2 lottery picks in one draft, you're accounting for the following year, really, when you get 2 in one draft. And so that's the first thing you calculate. And then secondly,
we can stop it there.
These
we
deals,
can stop it there. It's Ross. That was the quote I was talking about, Ross. Yep.
And I don't disagree. Like, if he had just given up the pick next year to get Queen, okay. But you also gave up 23. See what I'm saying? Like, there's a little bit of that's a little bit disingenuous because you basically had to use next year's pick to move up however many spots it was, 10, and you had to give up 23. And what I thought was really damning was that I didn't like to hear was when he just was like, yeah, we were watching people come off at 23 and there were some people in there we liked, we could have got. That's not something I probably would have admitted. I would have just left that off. But look, he's trying to spin this in his favor. I mean, what's he supposed to say? Supposed to get up there and say, we botched it. He's saying what I thought he said, what I thought he would say, which was, we really thought he said it to start the thing. He thought they would have to decide between those players at 7. And that's probably, a little tongue in cheek, but they clearly liked Queen a lot. I have no issue with that. We all liked him a lot. And so, look, if you really think that he's that good, we're going to find out.
Yeah. I'll go.
After we drafted 7, we started from 9 and went all the way until we got a deal. And you don't pull the trigger on the asset next year until you.
Can you? Well, can you rewind that about 10 seconds? So I gotta rehear that one. 444. Yeah.
After we drafted 7, we started from 9 and went all the way until we got a deal. And you don't pull the trigger on the asset next year until you get that deal. Otherwise, you keep it. But here's what I've said to the staff. When you identify a player that you think this can be one of the foundations here, you go and get him.
All right, stop.
Let me throw him some bail, right? Throw him some bail. If I was his PR person, I would say that, well, if we were lucky to get a player as good as we project Queen to be in next year's draft, if Queen was in next year's draft, we would have taken him no matter where the pick was. If he said something like that, I would be, or even if that's his mentality, because I think he believes what he's saying. I don't think he thinks that he fucked up. I think he yeah, you're doing a heck of a job here. It's flooded around this bitch, but you're doing a heck of a job. Keep doing what you're doing. I think he believes what he's saying. And if he would just say, I'd rather for him to just come out and say it. If Queen was in the draft next year, if he was pick 5 or something and we had the 5th pick, we was going to draft Queen. So we don't care about that other pick. You can't develop all these guys at one time anyway. But it still don't, it's not the best use of assets. But
it's not, but listening to him talk, I do agree with you, Chaz, in the sense of, I think they believe that Queen is legit. I think that they really, really believe, and I hope they're right. And I think he's talented, incredibly talented. I think they really, really believe that he's going to be a great NBA player. And so he did, through caution to the wind. And said, you know what, screw it. But we're just going to do it. What's interesting to me is, what if 13 had said no, and then didn't take Queen? Then what?
So they did. So that was actually a report today, right? Saying that Atlanta wasn't going to. Go ahead, Chris. I think it was. God, I was reading that today. They were saying maybe Atlanta wasn't going to take him.
So Atlanta, the talk was that Atlanta had someone else circled that they wanted, right?
Right.
And they had offered. Now he said that they started at 9, but the talk after that was that they offered the same thing to San Antonio, who were at 14 that would probably accept it, right? So the Hawks had whoever, I don't know if it was Asanu or
right.
It may be
they got shot down
else.
by Portland. They got shot down by Portland in that report.
So and Portland was at
10.
12.
I thought 11.
No.
Houston was 10.
Houston, Phoenix was
Portland 11,
Chicago
12.
Chicago 12. So that's what's interesting. Now, something else I heard he wasn't getting the 17. I don't know where he falls between 13 and 17, which team you think ultimately takes him, but that was their concern. And I guess if they just kept calling forward and say, "Oh, I'm just going."
Oh my god!
Like that's
I'm sure. Look,
that's
that
it's
is a funny
I'm
thought.
calling 9. I'm calling 10.
Look
I'm
at
calling
it,
11.
it stands to reason that, like, looking at rosters, that the Spurs may have taken him, and I think if the Spurs didn't, Oklahoma City definitely would have.
Oh yeah.
Know what it made me
Like-
think about? Y'all remember when the rumor was, yeah, Mark Cuban, he's driving around downtown Dallas. He can't get DeAndre Jordan to answer the phone. Like, I think, I think it's two lines of thinking, bro. I really think it's two lines of thinking. If you want to give him benefit of the doubt, you can say, well, look, if Queen was in the draft next year, he was drafting Queen. Like, he would, no matter what the pick was, he feels that passionately about Queen. It's his new, administration. He has the right to be right or wrong about this, right? And we won't know until we know. And the other line of thinking is, man, this is like when the Nets traded for Garnett. They were like, well, see if you can get another pick. Yeah, it's gonna be 2 firsts. See if you can get 3. All right, it's gonna be 3 firsts. See if you can get another one. It's gonna be 4 firsts. Like, these motherfuckers crazy. Like, so I don't know. You couldn't get top 1 protection. Like, you couldn't get nothing. But
that is, yeah. Go ahead, Lala.
It is what it is.
That's what we did. I mean, like we targeted Queen. We thought he could be a heck of an addition here, and we were really aggressive about going and getting him in this draft.
Can I stop for a second? Because I remember we were talking about this, and this is something that we haven't talked about. Because I remember the reports were coming out on draft day yesterday, and they were like, the Pelicans are seriously interested in Derek Queen at 7. Would y'all have been pissed off if the Pelicans would have drafted Queen at 7 and then done this whatever package and got Fears? Would have been different opinion, or would y'all have had the same opinion that you gave up too much to get Fears?
The conversation would have been you reached for Queen.
So it was always going to be surrounded by Queen. So what I'm saying is that you reached at 7 for Queen, but then you like the trade for Fears?
Because Fears wouldn't have made it past 10. Like, he wouldn't have gotten there, I don't think. Like, it's a different.
I'm sorry, Ross. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I think a lot of it is based on your evaluation of Queen, right? Like, to me, if you reach for Queen, to me, I want to give him some credit for showing some restraint and not reaching for Queen. But again, I can't view any of these things as an isolated incident. I have to couple it with you prematurely traded that Indiana pick for a number that you really had no intention on getting anyway. For all I know, if you would have just traded the first pick for 13, like the Bucks pick, I'm like, whatever. But the fact that you traded that and 23, and you still have holes on this roster, and you giving up the Indiana pick, now you don't have an asset to realistically attach to DeJounte. We'll talk about that. You don't have an asset to necessarily sweeten the pot with a Herb Jones trade. We'll probably talk about that, but it just looked like you spent one too many assets, and that's the problem. Just one too many assets. That, like,
Well, go ahead. Got 10 more minutes.
That keep fit in with what y'all do in the system and whatnot.
So I've said, obviously I like tough guys. I like that aggressive tough guy, but you got to have an IQ. You can't just be tough and nothing else. And I put his IQ in the game up against anybody in this draft.
Timeout.
Like, this is a super.
Chris?
Windhorse is reporting that it looks like the Knicks will hire James Borrego as their head coach.
Wow.
I told you, best agent in the business.
Go ahead, Lala.
Super high IQ guy, finds people, has the mentality of a guard, will push it up. He's just got unique skills for a 6'10" kid. And that really appealed to me, to have someone on the court like that. Look, you call those guys connectors. They can connect everybody on the court with the way they play. Super unselfish. You win with guys like that.
What's the biggest thing that stands out about Jeremiah Fears?
Yeah. Just, first of all, I love the confidence that he has. I spent time with him in Chicago at the pre-draft camp. I spent time with him here a week or so ago when he came in town. Super confident, but not arrogant, not cocky. Like, and look, you need some of that to be good in this league. Like you got to think, yeah, I'm him. You know what I mean? And so he does.
Jared.
And I like that about him. But
You're muted.
No, we have no backup plan. We're fucked. This thing's fucked. It's oh God. Shout out to James for getting the job. Oh my God. Yeah, oh man.
So James actually Borrego got the job.
Windhorst is saying it looks like he's gonna be the next head coach. I mean that could change because the other day it was saying Mike Brown's a favorite, but this just came out that was Wendy said.
Well, Mike Brown is out there.
Mike Brown is out there. Mike Malone's out there, but I know Mike Malone wouldn't. Go ahead, Lala.
I'm about to say you think
Chris. No, that was just I was thinking. Wait, I was delusional.
Mike Brown coming to sit on Willie Green bench.
I meant to replace him. Could you imagine Mike Brown sitting on Willie Green's bench? Go ahead,
chair.
Just ability to get anywhere on the court like that is a unique ability. And one of the things I say to the staff all the time is like, guys, if you're going to be a really, really good team, you have to have guys who can compromise the other team's defense. You have to have guys who can compromise other. If you look at any of the good teams, Shea, Halliburton, all these guys, and they have multiple guys that can compromise your defense.
Stop it.
And so,
go ahead, Chaz, Chris.
Go ahead, Chris. I'll speak after you.
No, this was the best part of the interview. Like this is probably the most insightful basketball related thing that I've heard a vice president of basketball operations say in over a decade. So, like we're talking about actual additions towards like with reasoning and why I think on a basketball floor they impact the game. Like I picked Derek Queen and Fears because I think that they can attack defenses and compromise defenses. And I picked them in addition to what I already have because I need multiple. It can't just be one person or two people. It got to be more than just Zion and Trey and Poole. I need more than them because this is what's happening around the league. From a basketball perspective, that was good to hear.
Yeah, I totally agree with Chris. I thought this was the absolute best part of this press conference because, again, even as malcontent as some of us may be with the Queen pick or the price rather to get Queen, at least you brought some real talent in the building because you really ain't had too many hoopers like that. And that's something I really wanted to stress is it's like when one or two of those guys are out, your whole offense falls apart. So it's like you needed talent in the building. You just needed talent, period. You didn't score over fucking 80. Was it over 90 points in the playoffs? And you was a pretty solid defensive team in the playoffs against OKC. You just couldn't score. So you need talent. So I agree with him 100%.
Good, Lala.
That's what Jordan Poole can do. That's what Zion can do. Now that's what Fears can do. That's what Queen can do. These guys can compromise the defense, and when you do that, you got a chance. You got a real chance.
And with Jeremiah and the trade yesterday, obviously you're addressing the point guard position. Mm-hmm. How important was that for you, and what do you want to kind of see from that position going forward?
You know what? For me, it's people who can attack. So, as you know, if you're playing against Denver, it's Jokic that's attacking you and compromising your defense. If you play against Luka, whoever, right? So I just wanted guys who can attack the other team. You can't have – it's hard to win when you just got one guy that can compromise the other team's defense. You have to have – if you look around the league now, you better have multiple guys that can attack, and you're not looking for one guy to do that night after night after night. You don't do that. You don't – that's a hard way to live. And so – for me, it wasn't necessarily the point guards. It just happened to be those positions. It could have been the small forwards. And if they are the type that can attack, you would have seen two of them.
Can you stop real quick? Because Jared, I was talking with you a little bit today. We were watching Derek Queen's game, and we talk about attacking the rim, and that's one thing that me and you love to talk about is stop settling and get rim pressure. Rim pressure leads to layups, putbacks, and free throws. Mm-hmm. And we don't have enough players. I mean, the only one is Zion, right? Trey is kind of added that, but I don't have Trey as a downhill player. Zion's really the only one. Now with Queen and Fears, you're adding two guys that play downhill all the time. Mm-hmm. And I think that leads to easier buckets. It leads to easier kick out threes, and it leads to free throw attempts.
That was going to be the point I was going to make. You sent me that what they got to the line 6 times a game or something like that.
Yeah, like I think Fears at 6.7, Queens at 6.1, top 60 both in the nation.
I mean, that's what happens, right? Like when you got multiple guys that are willing and want to get downhill, right? Yeah. Like you don't have to beg them to try to go get a layup. I mean, you're going to get more foul shots, and put a lot of pressure on the defense.
I think also you got 4 dudes who just not scared. Like at minimum, and even I add Poole. You got some plus shooters and Trey, Bay, Poole, Antonio Reeves. You know, you got some plus shooters, so you got some pieces. It's just about finishing the puzzle, right? And you got some toughness. You got some dog. Like just off the top of my head, you got several players on this roster right now that could unshockingly drop like 40, 50 points. If you told me Poole dropped 50, I'm not shocked. If you told me Trey dropped 50, I'm not shocked. You told me Queen dropped 50 in a game, I won't be shocked. You told me Zion dropped 50, I'm not going to be shocked. Trey, there's a lot of dudes. I've seen Antonio Reeves drop 30 here and there, 20 here and there. You got some offensive talent. Still, defensively is where your shortcomings are, but I like the fact that you're at least bringing the offensive talent in, because defense be damned, you still got to score in this league. You got 82 games where the object of the game is to have more points than the other team. So,
I was just thinking about Fears, Jarrett, or Chris, whoever wants to go here, is that with Poole, obviously Poole is going to be your main point guard this year, but also I'm sure Poole wants to play off ball a little bit as well. With Fears, with Queen, with Zion, you have guys like Trey and Poole spotting out in different corners. I set a set to you today, Jarrett, where just a simple high ball screen with Poole or with Fears and Queen, you dump off your 4-on-3 with Zion in the dunker, Trey on one corner, and Poole on the other. So you got 2 40-plus shooters, and then you have a lob threat. And you see with the Warriors all the time when Draymond would get downhill and just throw a lob to Looney or a kick out to Clay. I just find out, like as Chad's saying, I think you have more firepower offensively than what we're kind of giving this team.
The fucked up thing is, like, we can see we can't even get to that point because Willie Green's the coach, right? But we can like kind of visualize, you can visualize, Derek, possibly setting a screen, because I think that's what Zion doesn't want to do. He doesn't want to be the screener. Okay, I got it. But Queen is a decent screener, right? And then he gets to go play 4-on-3, 3-on-2, 2-on-1, and you have space with shooters. If it's him and Fears in the PNR, you have Jordan Poole, and you sent us a stat that Jordan Poole is like top 10 in
top 10 being double teamed. Pause.
Yeah, and double teamed, or don't leave this guy. Like
that wasn't
blitz. It was blitzed. It was right there, Justin.
Yeah.
God damn.
I wasn't thinking blitz. I didn't say it.
To add on to that point, though, this is the last thing I'll say about
Jared.
it. You got real deal advantage creators, though.
Yeah.
Like you got some
you haven't
dudes,
had that in a while.
Jared. You got hoopers. Like motherfuckers like, watch out, little bitch. Like you got like people who like kind of physically impose, and you got a couple dudes with crazy handles. Poole, great finishing ability at the rim, can get to the rim pretty much at will. Fears get to the rim at will, play strong. You got a dude who can handle, got some post moves, can do his thing. And Queen is if he becomes a 36% corner shooter or just catch and shoot guy, now we having a whole different conversation. Honestly, like now the conversation gets different. But I like the idea of advantage creators, not just motherfuckers that can score. Advantage creators, people who can collapse the defense, beat you off the dribble, get to the rim, get to the free throw line, and that you got a game plan for. Like, so I really like
we have to
like
stop.
that.
You have to zone in on stopping this action, or these are the consequence kind of things. Look, as a coach, like it puts you through the fucking ringer, man. Of like, God, you gotta stop this. And, well, we can't leave this guy, but then if we leave this guy, you have that. It puts a lot of pressure on the defense.
And here's another thing. Towards the end of the season last year, your favorite term that I won't create, like
blitzed.
Yeah. Well, I wasn't gonna say that. I was gonna say the other one that you said.
Okay.
Queen saw a lot of possessions with multiple defenders were guarding him out of the post. Like, you know what I'm saying? So not only do you have advantage creators, you have guys that you have a few different individuals on your team that aren't used to consistently being in spots where they're just seeing one defender. So I think that can also help you. You know, Queen faced a lot of floors that shrunk. He faced a lot of floors where he was all across the tournament, there were points to where, like, Colorado State, they just pushed Maryland up so he couldn't get to his spots. And when he did, they threw a double at him and forced him to either throw to the corner or reset the offense. You know, what is that going to look like for somebody that I think already, like someone in the chat said that they're worried about how strong he is. Bro's 250, and he plays. He might play a little stronger. He might play a little stronger than 250. Like, it ain't a whole bunch of 250 pound NBA players just running around, and he plays physical. So what is that going to look like early on? Well, he could just worry about doing what he does best for a team that's gonna need to score and facing one defender at a time.
And I'm sorry, to add on to Chris's point, Queen, you look at his face. That's a kid. Like, he's a kid,
bro,
so he's gonna get stronger. He's gonna refine. He's refine himself, and also because for me, I know I had some questions about the Queen Zion pairing in the front court more because of Derek Queen's efficacy. Because my thing is with the Zion, it was like, it don't matter who you put down there. Put 3-4 motherfuckers down there. It don't matter. Well, that's a crazy pause. It don't matter who you put in the paint. It don't matter who you put in the paint. It could be 3-4 players in the paint. Zion gonna get to the rim. He's gonna score. With Queen, if Queen can get the corner three, if Queen, improves his mid range.
Well, I thank the Lord. Well, I thank Coach Harbaugh.
Yeah, that's
Chris, he just kept getting closer to the screen. I just
it's
had
the passion. It don't matter who you put down there. Bring the whole start five down.
Chris is yelling.
He's getting doubled in the post. I think it's called BP'd. Like, that's not what it's called. What the fuck? But but seriously though, even if he extends to the mid range, he can be a more effective Jonas, because I don't think Jonas was bad defensively in those years that you saw him pairing with Zion. And now you see that Zion is not a guard, and they're acknowledging. I mean, he's not a big, and they're acknowledging this dude is not a big. We doing something different.
Yeah. All right, Lala, go ahead.
More than just talent alone, but having guys who have intangibles. People who are culture builders. Just the acquisition of the last 48 hours. How does that speak to that vision of you?
So I can tell you this. So we make the deal. When did we make the trade? Yesterday? Yeah, yesterday. I'm on the phone with Jordan Poole first. I'm on the phone with Sadiq first, and with Poole second. And as I'm talking to him, they were like, "Man, Jody, thank you, man, for bringing me to New Orleans, man. I appreciate it. I won't let you down. I won't let you down." Here's the thing. Those are the best trade calls you can get. Worst thing you can do is trade for somebody and then have to try to convince them that they want to be here. Before I could even say it, those guys, both of them, I'm telling you, man, both of them like, "Man, I so appreciate you bringing me, man. You won't regret it." And Poole said on the phone, as I was talking to him, he said, "Listen, whatever you guys ask me to do, I'm gonna do. Like, I'm not coming there, whatever it takes to win, I'm gonna do."
Chris, what are your thoughts hearing that from Jordan Poole?
It sound good. What I
like, what about like, hey, Jordan, when DeJounte Murray comes back, you gotta go to the bench.
listen. We talked about this when DeJounte was running for local office. We talked about this as soon as he got to New Orleans. I said, okay, I'm happy he's saying this shit now, but what is he gonna be saying in January with Willie Green as his coach? Listen, that's great. Speaking of, I think we got a set up to with an interview with Jordan Poole's trainer. So hopefully we can have the whole the whole squad there and chop it up with him and ask some Jordan Poole related questions next week at some point.
That's
so
major.
Y'all look out for that.
That is major.
But yeah, once again, what is he supposed to say? What is he supposed to say? I want to see the action if this team lose 5 in a row. When Willie Green got him on the bench at the end of the game because he missed a defensive assignment and Jose Alvarado was closing the game. I want to see when they talk to me in January and see if he's still happy.
Nah, Chris, you know what it's gonna be? It's gonna be a transition, like semi-transition, 40-foot bomb from Jordan Poole, and it ain't gonna hit not a damn thing. That's what it's gonna be. And Willie Green either is gonna roll his eyes or he gonna sub him out. I got a strange feeling he probably gonna sub Jordan Poole out. He ain't gonna play the rest of the game, some shit like that.
I think,
Go ahead.
Again, to me, no, good. Go ahead.
Best calls you can get. So when you talk about culture building, those are the type of guys you want in your building that's coming in and saying, whatever you need me to do, man, I'm there. And so it was a great call from 2 guys who played in this league already. And then the young guys, they were both just super excited tonight. 2 young kids, on the phone. I FaceTime with both of them. They were super excited, man. Just super happy to come. Look, last week when Fears was here, both and Queen was here a few days before, I was out to dinner with
this motherfucker love to eat, boy.
First time and
this motherfucker love to eat.
And both of them were like, man, please bring me here. Please draft me, man. Like both of them were like, draft. And so that's what I'm saying. I'm going to draft tonight. I'm like, man,
they trying to get drafted, Joe.
So,
you know what though?
Yeah,
I'm gonna say, I think now Jordan Poole, he's not without his moments. I think a lot of that's also because of the era we live in. Because I think if we lived in the Paul Pierce era with social media, we would feel a little bit differently about Paul Pierce, honestly. like for real. But what I will say is Jordan Poole wasn't just he probably, you ain't
he want to throw it.
You know what I'm saying? And and it wasn't like a situation. It was just a fucked up situation. You know what I'm saying? It's a fucked up situation. And I'm sure he suffered some mental health battles as a result of that because it happens so publicly. But also, man, Jordan Poole wasn't no motherfucking chump in Golden State. Jordan Poole was a factor, like a real, like a serious guy. They don't win the finals without Jordan Poole. And I don't mean that like passively. I mean like, no, Jordan Poole literally was winning. He won a couple finals games, Western Conference finals games, and playoff games almost by himself. Like he was the X factor. So he's the winner. That motherfucker winner. And winners respect winners. Dumars a winner.
I wanna
Chris,
ask y'all something.
sorry.
I want to ask y'all something. To Five's point about Jordan Poole and those 40-foot shots, right? Well, if you Jordan Poole, is there not a part of you that's thinking, well, I got traded for CJ. Y'all probably gonna have me running the point. I didn't win a championship. I'm actually I'm more accomplished than even the guy that you traded, and I'm 26 years old, or however old he is. Why won't I be allowed to take the same kind of shots that CJ took?
Hey, how
is that gonna work?
Yeah. I truly have a theory. I think, how everybody used to compare Jordan like he was out almost going to be Steph light, right? I think he's closer to CJ in that, and younger and better. Just for the fact like he's already skilled. He just needs the experience at this point. And CJ Zion lineup minutes are like a plus. You take a younger, better version of CJ McCollum and you add him with Zion, that seems right in theory. I want to see that that pairing really do well, because I think it makes a lot of sense. They both are people that you have to worry about. Like y'all talked about advantage creators, but I always think about like eyes. Like how many eyes would be on Jordan Poole and Zion? Probably 8. If you look thinking about a defense, and that leaves 2. There's so much of an advantage by having that. It's going to be a net positive for the Pelicans if you just had those 2 healthy on the floor together.
You're just forcing long closeouts. You're forcing rotations, X outs, to where it's easily breaking down your defense. Go ahead, Law.
And environment. The first thing is you got to have guys who want to be in the building, and so that's what we have now with these 4 guys.
He and Troy are pretty close. What did Troy tell you about him?
Yeah, I mean, he's for the last 2 months that we've been here. He just told me about really the character of the kid, like, super unselfish, not a stat guy, not worried about stats. He judges everything by winning, and that's it. And so the time I spent with him in Chicago and the time I spent with him here in New Orleans, that's all he talked about. Like, he's not worried about how many points I got. Like, he's the guy that's got 6 points and a win, and you guys know what I'm saying. He's super happy in the locker room. And 20 points and he lost, and he's down for real. So, you know how that can go, with guys. And so he's the opposite of the bad end of that. Like, when we win and he has 6 points or 4 points, he'll be the happiest guy in the locker room.
How integral has Troy Weaver been? Because on his face, we can see he was in Washington, so he knows the Bull Bay, and he was around Derek Queen. So how integral has he been and helpful in making these decisions?
Listen, I think that, and I've said this to Ms. Benson, that every element of your organization is a team. And so your front office is a team, the coaching staff is a team, the players is a team. I always want to get the best people. Troy is the best. He's simply the best at this. He knows this. We spend countless hours together here these last 2 months here in New Orleans. It's been a journey these last 2 months with him, but he's simply the best at this. And so
time out.
He was the first call I made.
Time out. Listen. Look, I like what you're doing, but at the same time, I don't like what you're doing. Now, I remember they brought in Hunter Dickinson, right? This is a two-way. Two-way is good. That ain't shit. Another good motherfucker get waived or something. They bring in a two-way. Hunter Dickinson is from Virginia. What in the fuck? Dog. Shout out to the VA. You know what I'm saying? 2 up, 2 down. Brother. This is insane. See, this how you put your people on. This how you put your people on. You know what I'm saying? Where's my stuff? I ain't got none of my stuff on. But this how you put your people on. Well, I know what? I got my my John Deere tractor behind me. That's how you look out for your people. Shout out to John Deere. But what is going on with all these DMV signings? Shout out to DMV.
I can't. Hunter Dickinson was in college for 10 years. Like, seriously,
yeah,
I
he's
cannot.
Grown
bro,
man.
like, yeah, he's the veteran in the locker room. Like, he's our veteran in the locker room.
That's kind of what you kind of got to hit on. Though you need somebody like you got to find your Cornette.
Chaz.
No, what I mean by that is This is what I mean. This is what I mean. Again, you're the Pelicans and you ain't got no money. So if you're the Pelicans, you got to do the thing that made Dale Demps kind of like, that's interesting. Like, you got to find your Najee. You got to find your Cornette. You got to find the motherfucker who just like, wow, who is this guy? Like, what's that dude Justin can't stand? He played for the Bulls. Who's this motherfucker? Like, here's a white dude play for the Bulls. He's like 30 or something. And this motherfucker was killing the Pelicans.
Yeah, Ross, I forget his name. Nice. He was European, right?
Yeah, he is.
Yeah, I was like, who the fuck is this guy?
Yeah, so you got to get lucky on one of these, but I think I don't think he's gonna make the roster.
No, go ahead, Law.
Andres Nocinio. Okay, might be my cousin.
He was literally the first call I made, and he said, "When are we going?" And I was like, as soon as possible. And so, yeah, I mean, super happy to have Troy with me.
Like you, 40 years ago, you got this phone call. What's it like when you get a chance to see these kids?
Yeah, it's great. You know what's tough for me is like right before I came over here, I was looking at some of the kids and they're struggling, sitting there waiting on their names to get called, and I get called. And I was like, man, I remember that night. You know, I went 18 in the draft, and so yeah, it's a tough night for kids, but man, at the end of the night, when those kids get their names called, it's the best night of their lives so far. It is the best night of their lives. Actually, when I called Queen on FaceTime, the first thing he said was, "What took you so long?" I just wanted to make you wait a little while, you know. So good kid.
And high character guys and guys that'll help win a championship and all that. How much was a fit next to Zion Williamson? How much was that really held in consideration when making these picks or really exploring the draft?
You get guys who want to win. You get high IQ guys. You get guys with like what I call real basketball character. Those guys fit in with anybody. Like when you get that, you don't have to worry about who they're going to fit with. The profile is what makes them fit with everybody. So you don't have to go like, oh, okay, who can fit with that? No, get high character, smart, tough guys who just want to win in a big way. That's how you end up winning rings and being in the finals. I'm telling you, you have to have those type of guys. And so that's what I'm focused on more than do they fit with this guy or that guy. That's a little short-sighted for me from my vantage point. Anyway.
That's ironic coming from Joe short-sightedness.
Short-sighted, he said.
Speaking of short-sighted, this motherfucker like, where am I? Come on, man. But either way, I'll say I like that answer because again, like to me, if you a real deal hooper, some nights it's gonna be this brother night. Some nights it's gonna be this brother night. And one hand wash the other, both hands wash the face. It's all about getting guys who with certain skill sets versus like I hate to God bless the day, Brandon Ingram. So like Brandon's his skill sets didn't necessarily match, but Brandon could score at will. So all the time, it ain't, in theory, you'll be like, well, he can shoot, he just don't do it. Whereas with these guys, if they buy into what you're trying to get them to do, I think drafting for a quote unquote fit is bad. Just bring them in and give them a role that they can flourish in, because these dudes can hoop.
100%, Chaz. And I want to go back to, because Jarrett really opened up my eyes this kind of a couple of years ago, but Jarrett was like, get basketball players. Don't get this 3-point specialist here and then this. Get overall basketball players that can help out on both the offensive and defensive side. And I think that was just an important point that Dumars made there, Jarrett. Like, we're going to get basketball players. As crazy as that sounds, we're going to get basketball players.
Finally. I mean, I don't know why they all have to be from the same area, but hey, if it works, it works. We'll see if it works.
It's like 80-mile radius.
It's almost.
What's the radius on it?
100% what Indiana did.
It's close.
Pretty close. That's cool.
But I'll say too, that's like Riff was, he was one of them people being Europe in the red light district. He just loved these foreigners and Europeans because they like, well, it's going to fit in with the metropolitan thing we got going on. You're like, he was one of them, hippy dippy people. You know what I'm saying? Tree hugger. So now with Joe Dumars, he getting some dog. Some of these is country boys, like, you know what I'm saying? These dudes out here, they ready to battle, they ready to fight. You know what I'm saying? So like they confident. You heard what's his name? Fear say, I'm bringing star power. I ain't never heard of this brother. Like he said, I'm bringing star power. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, so
I like the zero fears chain.
Oh,
I'm a big fan of that.
Oh my goodness. Yo, speaking of zero fears, I got these shirts.
Oh, you do have a
charity time. It's summer. Get a shirt for the kids. Zero fears, you know what I'm saying? Get that, and get one for the kids. We got them in all flavors. You know what I'm saying? Copy your shirt. You know what I'm saying? Same website as before. But all that being said, I'm with it. You know what I'm saying? I'm with it. I respect the confidence of these guys he's bringing in.
Go ahead, Lala.
Ball handlers. Something else we're seeing today a lot is teams going double bigs. Yep. How much do you kind of see Derek fitting into that?
Oh, absolutely. we talked about that a lot, man, about him and Misi and Carlo, and it's imperative now that you have to have bigs. And I'm not even sure we're done adding bigs because you need big bodies now. You look at any of these teams right now; they're running 2 bigs out there, and if you can't match up, you're in trouble. And so, we want to make sure that that's a strong suit for us as well.
Pause.
I
I think this is one of the most interesting comments, given what's been going on with this draft, right? And given some of the the trade acquisitions, you just added a really solid 3-and-D wing and Sadiq. You just added another like physically dominant player and Micah. And your perimeter is pretty. If you don't do nothing else with the perimeter, I think you're right, honestly. But your like front court, your 4 and 5 position is probably the most questionable. Like, let's say you view Queen as your backup 4, right? Let's say it's your backup 4. Who's starting at the 4? So let's say Misi is your 5, or given your limitations on the boards, given your limitations defensively, and shout out to Misi because he got upside. He's another young guy, but who's starting at the 5? So the fact that he went out of his way to say, I'm not sure we've done that, and I hope he ain't talking about 2 up, 2 down Hunter Dickinson. I hope that's not what he meant.
Listen, I'm just happy he didn't say we'll figure it out.
Yeah, we'll figure it out.
I'm happy, and I will take from this. One thing Griff would always do. Griff would bring up some comparison when he didn't know exactly how to attack the question that was being posed. He'd go back, well, what we did when I was in Phoenix. Oh, this is why we did this. This is why I worked when I was back in Cleveland.
If we were in the Eastern Conference,
or we were in the Eastern Conference, or or if you look what Golden State did a few years ago, what I'm saying, Joe. Because if I swear to God, if I hear Joe Dumars ever bring up that championship in 2004, I'm gonna lose my shit. I appreciate it. He bet not ever. And I mean ever talk about a championship from 21 years ago. If he ever say, well, when we won back in 2004, when Jeremiah Fears wasn't born, this is what happened. Don't do it. Just
when I was working in the film room, back in Phoenix, I really worked my way from the bottom to the top. Things were different back then. You got guys like Amari Stoudemire, who was starting at the 5, and the Tim Thomases of the world, and we see a lot of that in Zion. I think Zion could do a lot of what Amari did, and I see a lot of Steve Nash and Jordan Poole, and we haven't unlocked Hunter Dickinson yet. I think he got a lot of offense to give, and hey, his last name says it all. But all that to say, I agree with Chris.
Lala, this is, I think we'll make this the last part here, but I think this is the most interesting thing he said. Go ahead, Lala.
Do you feel like this roster needs a veteran or 2?
We just need to keep adding high character guys. Some bad veterans too now. So what I mean. So, and some great young guys. And so for me, that character is going to supersede everything else.
Shout out to Lau, man.
And look,
what up, mate?
People misconstrue what character is. Character to me is the unselfish guy who's great teammates. I played with some characters, man, but they were great teammates, and it was all about winning. And people look at the wild stuff and go, "What kind of guy?" No, they're incredible teammates. Super dedicated to winning. That's what I'm looking for more than if he's an older guy, younger guy. You can bring the wrong guy in your locker room who's 30 plus. You got a problem.
I like that answer.
Yeah. So
this is it.
Every Monday I'm meeting with the medical staff, updating on all of these guys: Herb, Trey, DeJounte. And so just on top of it, like the rehab. Matter of fact, DeJounte just called me maybe 30, 40 minutes ago. Hey, Joe D, can I get Fears and Queen's phone number, man? So this is a guy that's all in. And, every time I talk to DeJounte, he's like, Joe.
Stop it there.
Just tell the truth. Just to talk to these people.
Well, he's saying he's all in, but yet he threw the medical staff under the bus. He threw the whole coaching staff under the bus, and all those guys, and threw the front office under the bus. The thing about the front office is that they're not there anymore. But it's the same medical team. It's the same coaching staff. It's the same player developmental guys that you literally just threw under the bus 2 weeks ago. And we're saying now he's all in. Like once again, I know he's gonna keep talking more about the interview and how they had a conversation. But you can't go out, say those things, throw those hardworking people under the bus, and then be like, all right, guys, what's up? Day one. Hey, I'm back. You ready to work out? You ready, can I get on the table? Yeah, okay. What? I'd be like, yeah, you got table time? Like, that's gonna be an ongoing, like, I guess I don't have table time. I guess we don't have court time. Like, I just don't understand how you can go from last week bashing the organization and now this week, hey, what's Fear's number? What's Queen number? What's it's like, whoa.
Yo.
Don't say you're all in, but you say that thing a couple weeks ago. That's my biggest issue with the whole thing. I mean, I don't know if I'm overreacting or not, but from what I saw DeJounte say, and then from this tonight, I thought it was like, wow, like so much change in 2 weeks.
Like, to Donald's point, DeJounte, I mean, and he has the right to be emotional because he went through some emotionally devastating
100%.
things.
I'm not talking about any of that. I'm just talking about basketball.
Yeah, just basketball related. He lied. And he lied a lot. And the thing is, not only did he lie a lot, the timing doesn't match up. The timing. Because Joe had already been in the organization over 2 months. So you didn't talk, like I talked to DeJounte and see what we could do better. You didn't talk to him before he went on the pivot. Joe Dumars' name didn't come up not one time while he was on the pivot. To me, this is a little bit of this is Joe playing cleanup man, pause, kind of correcting, trying to get ahead of the narrative and trying to maybe refurbish some of DeJounte's value a little bit and repair some of his value, because I gotta imagine he's working with Clutch in unison, trying to get this dude back on the court fast, trying to get him out the building fast. You don't draft Jeremiah Fears, you don't trade for Jordan Poole if you plan on keeping DeJounte. Like, it just, but I like how you answered it.
Also, we don't know when that was shot, right? We don't know when the pivot was produced.
Interesting.
Yeah, this could have been done, a couple months ago, prior to Joe.
No, it was after that, because he referenced David Griffin getting fired. He said this person got fired and this person left. So the only people got fired and left was Griff, Trajan, and Swin. So we already know Joe Dumars got hired the same motherfucking day. He saw Griffin on his way out the building. Like, you know what I'm saying? He saw him walking out. Like, you know what I'm saying? He was going down the escalator. He was coming up the escalator. So,
all right.
So that's why I
escalators.
So he didn't, man. Okay.
Yeah.
You're right, man.
Go ahead, Law.
I'm 6 days a week. And he is, because we have one of our people out with him in Vegas, where he is in the summer. And we've sent somebody out there to be with him and his rehab team to make sure that we're on top of it.
What you would expect early on from Jeremiah?
I'm sorry.
Will DeJounte's recovery timeline influence potentially Jeremiah's exposure to playing time early in the season, or not?
Not really. If DeJounte was healthy, we still would have gone into this the same way. It's just about adding the pieces that you think can impact the game. But look, we're gonna have some really good players around Jeremiah, so he's not going to have to go out there and like carry this unbearable load on his shoulders. When he gets on the court, he's going to be surrounded by guys who played in this league and know how to play, man.
He's not ready to go when the season starts. Yeah. You envision Jeremiah starting with
I don't know if he's starting or not. I mean, training camp, summer league, I don't know yet about that. But, we love the talent. We love his we love his makeup of who he is, and we'll put him out there. And look, one thing
we can pause it.
Never do
basically does DeJounte. That's really kind of it. But just overall thoughts real quick. Jared, I know you got dip here in 5 same. So let's go real quick, but let's go Jared, Chaz, and Chris, you close it out. Let's go overall thoughts on just the Joe Dumars presser.
If you want to give it a grade, it's like a C. I didn't learn anything, I didn't gain anything, but I also didn't lose much. I think he might have had like really one great answer, to be honest. But we will see, right? Like, I thought his position on getting his guys was very paramount to him. Super important to him. He didn't care how he got it. He just wanted to get those guys, and we'll see how it works out.
Yeah. Terry, appreciate the super chat, by the way. If I told you before the draft you would trade CJ Buck swaps, then you pick, and you would get Fears, Queen, Pool, and Bay. Ooh. What if I told you before the draft you would trade CJ the Buck swap and the Indiana pick, and you would get Fears, Queen, Pool,
I probably see when you reference it like that. I don't know, but I don't know.
But you still got to include your pick in it.
Yeah, include 20.
Yeah, you got to include 7. I would thought you got a star. I thought you got a superstar.
Yeah,
I ain't gonna lie.
Yeah. Good,
but
good question. Appreciate that, Anthony. Appreciate you.
Oh, shout out to Anthony, man.
Chaz, overall thoughts, real quick. Go, Chris.
Well, he didn't lose the press conference. It was hard to, it was one of those things where I don't think Joe's just a straight talker he's being made out to be. I just think that he just has a different delivery, but I think it's some of the same, cliche-isms and good people talk and things like that. But it was a difficult spot for him to be in after that trade and that draft. So all things considered, I think he did admirably. All things considered.
Yeah. Chris.
The what sounds like conversations or responses about basketball ideology, basketball plans toward the type of players that you want and why you want them, I think is the thing that I grasp with the most, so I'm going to be focusing on going forward to see if there's consistency with that. Because if that's ultimately what his plan was in this draft, outside of just liking the players, then that means that you have no choice now with what you invested and what you sacrificed to get Queen and leave with Queen and Fears. You have to have a plan with these people. But I found it interesting just simply listening to him talking about not even necessarily why he went and traded for those two, but the basketball characteristics that stood out and why he thought it was important. Because I'm hoping that means that the team is going to match that in their consistent moves of, we want to be a multifaceted, offensive, attacking basketball team. And this is what this is going to look like. This is the type of roster we're going to build and why. So, it was a solid press conference, but I'm going to remember that. You know what I'm saying? Because if we're here in training camp and the roster, we start looking at, depth charts, we start penciling in how these rotations are going to look, and it really ain't changed much. Well, now it's 100% the same shit as before with Griff. And you just trying to sell me on something, which part of that is the game. There's a political aspect to all of this shit, but it shouldn't be when it comes to the type of basketball players you bring into your building.
Yeah. Well, appreciate everybody that's pulled up tonight and the last 24 hours. Y'all have been absolutely incredible. Appreciate Chaz and Chris and Lito and Jarrett and Ross, of course, Lala in the background. Lala, thank you for everything you've done for the show over the last 24 hours. Absolutely incredible. And also shout out to Grub. Grub's going live every Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday. And then no more film breakdowns. Well, right, Chris? I guess we're done film breakdowns. How many prospects did you do? 30? You, Lito, 5, Ivory?
25-ish.
Damn,
maybe 30. Well,
Man.
I mean, I guess Micah Peavy now.
One guy I am interested in, man, is RJ Luis, man. I'm interested in him.
RJ
I'm
Luis?
interested in he's undrafted from St. John's. No, I'm sure he's probably weighing some offers, mulling some offers over for a 2-way. So I hope the Pelicans take a flyer on him. Very interesting wing prospect.
Appreciate the super chat. Chuck Noll would trade for King a few days ago. Exactly who is he and does he have any upside? Are they planning on bringing in the States this season?
Who? Mojave King.
Mojave King from the pit.
He was like the throw-in.
You haven't heard about this guy, Chris?
No, I'm gonna be honest with you. I've never seen that name before in my life.
Yeah, smash the like button. Appreciate everybody. We'll be live back Sunday night.
Shout out to Mojave though, bro. Come on.
Wait,
come on
couple
the show.
things. One, Fear's high school coach is going to come on the show on Sunday night. Chris, you said when's y'all show? I know you and Lito have a show with no ceilings on Tuesday.
Yeah, on Tuesday, and then we're gonna try to later in the week. But I want to kind of have everybody there. So maybe a day where we can get as many of us as possible. We're gonna talk to Jordan Poole.
Okay, cool. And shout out Loud, bro.
My bad. Shout out to Loud.
Good to see Loud. Shout out to you, bro. Pelicans going to Australia in what, 2 months?
They probably canceled that. It's like, nah, we don't want the Pelicans over here fucking spiders.
See y'all later.
What I mean.
Talk to y'all later.